My nails are so long right now. I need to cut them.
That's so
Oh my God.
Ew.
Holy shit, Ian.
Disgusting.
Damn.
Hi, welcome to Smosh Mouth. I'm Shayne.
And I'm Amanda, and we have two very, very special guests with us, Anthony and Ian.
Wow, you introduced them the opposite way they usually are. It's Ian and Anthony.
I know, but I
Anthony and Ian.
I changed it up.
She's reading left to right.
That's right.
The new thing.
Yeah.
For the first time ever, both of you are here.
Wait,
Is that
first
really
time
for the
ever?
first time?
On the
ever?
podcast, we haven't had both of you, have
True?
we?
No,
No.
we have.
No.
Wait.
No, we haven't.
Am I crazy?
No.
I don't remember
We
that.
had
Okay.
Courtney and Anthony here to talk about
Yeah.
funeral back then.
And then we had you had Ian on, and then I came on like a week or two later,
Yeah.
but never at the same time.
This is huge.
Interesting.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
both of you.
Yeah, no one's ever seen us in the same room before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. Ever since the panini, we've just been green screen.
Yeah, filming sketches
I
is very
refused-
strange because we have one of you one day,
Yeah.
film all of your scenes, then the next day we have the other one.
I still haven't left my house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're actually one of those, like, you're like the Tupac hologram right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, me and Tupac.
Should we try to interact?
Wow.
Should we try to interact?
Oh my God, this is
Yeah.
insane.
We were talking, we'll probably keep it in, but we were talking beforehand about how Ian needs to cut his nails.
Anthony was just shaming me, but I will say I said it first. I said it first that I need to cut my nails.
I did not shame you. I played
no.
into the joke,
Dude,
and I
you
said you.
Nobody else said you. Nobody.
Okay.
That's the thing. You didn't play
I didn't
into
say
it.
ew. I
Yeah.
thought it's.
Because Shayne was like, oh, and you were like, ew. Dude, look.
They are very long.
They're long, but
It's
they're
not
good.
gross.
What's wrong with
There's
them?
nothing wrong with it. They're clean.
Yeah, there's
There's nothing
gunk.
wrong with them.
There's no gunk under my
I
nails.
was
Ah.
joking
I
about
think-
the you.
I think it's something that when my nails get long, I cannot handle it.
Oh, I don't like
Really?
it
I
either.
have to cut.
I only don't like it because I'm typing on my phone and it clicks and clacks.
Ugh.
That's the only issue I have.
I could never. When they're even like, I never get to this point because I just need to cut them.
I
Wow.
agree with that. I'm just never. It's always that thing where like I don't see my nails and go, when I am back home and near nail clippers, I will clip my nails.
Are you a
So
villain from the 50s?
Yes.
Ah.
Like,
I will get
got
him.
nails. I'm gonna gonna get rid of my nails. She. But yeah. So whenever I am near nail clippers, it's not top of mind. So I just.
Well, that's all we have today, folks.
Anyway.
Thanks so much for
It's been
tuning
a
in.
great show. Guys, it's been about a year since Anthony, since you came back.
Yeah.
And,
I can't believe that.
announced and we've started on this whole new journey.
Yeah, that is crazy. We learned a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like a
lot.
freaking lot happened.
Yeah.
How was this past year?
It's been a whirlwind of a ride, I would say. It's been great. I mean, like, I think it far exceeded our expectations, and that's obviously like a testament to everyone at Smosh. Like, we came back and like, you know, we did our thing and we had certain expectations, but I think like the audience showed up in a huge way.
Yep.
And it's really like wild to see like how much like the Pit and Games channels and Smosh Mouth
Hey.
like just like exploded in this like past year. So
It's really cool. I mean, I think it's been the most consistent year we've ever had. You know, we would have stretches. We'd kind of have this roller coaster ride over the past 9 years I've been here where it's like, okay, we're doing good. We feel secure. And then it's like, oh shit, things aren't working out. This past year has felt like nonstop success. I mean, because I remember when we first did SmoshCast back in the day, like it started off and it was like, oh, this is going to be like a cool thing. And then like it took only a couple months for the views to kind of drop and us be like, oh, like I don't know if the amount of work we're putting into this is going to bring us back. Like if it's going to be worth it for the amount of work we're putting, as much as we enjoy it.
Right.
But Smosh Mouth as of now is like really done well.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. And I think I feel just as good about it as I felt about SmoshCast back in the day. I just think our audience has found us.
well, I
now.
think SmoshCast in the first iteration of SmoshCast was kind of like, I won't say like an afterthought, but it wasn't anyone's priority. Like in terms of like a lot of days, it was like, well, we got to shoot the SmoshCast. Did you guys have anything prepared? And like we had people that were like that were working on it, but it wasn't like their main job. And I
Right.
think and I think the work that y'all have done on this podcast, in front of and behind the camera, like it's much more thoughtful, and there's more time and thought put into this iteration with Smosh Mouth.
I'm really grateful that we had Selina also help us. It would be like Shayne and I texting like, hey, so I really want to talk about this. Should we talk about this? Yeah, why not? Let's do it. And then we would like try to organize it together, but it was so nice to have Selina come on and like help us produce and direct us so that we could have these actual thoughtful meetings that we carved out that weren't like, oh shit, we have to find time.
We needed someone who was capable of using the Google Suite.
Yeah.
Whereas we open up a computer and we go,
Don't, that's triggering.
we turn into Harambe with a computer.
Oh my God.
No, but Selina has been crucial to this. I mean, she really helped us organize it all.
I feel like there's been a huge explosion in creativity and risk taking in a really positive way.
Absolutely.
Across all the channels. Yeah, and I think you all having this creative vision and having each episode feel like it brings something really unique has been really strong.
Totally. And it's also been cool because when you showed up and with Ali in charge, what's been so cool is how many times since then it's been such a foreign thing for me where it's like, oh, we kind of want to do this thing. It's like, oh yeah, go ahead.
I know.
And then I'm kind of like, is that it?
You're like, I want to fight for
Is that it? Is that so we can do whatever? And it's just like, yeah, just do whatever. And I'm like,
Amanda, we can just kind of do whatever. I'm
No.
like, huh?
when we started Smosh Mouth and it was just like, I guess we can do whatever we want with this podcast. And then, it's like, oh, we want to rename it. It's like, oh, great. What do you want to name it? And we were like, I remember that meeting where it's just kind of like, and I think it was you or Ali who threw out Smosh Mouth.
It was Ali.
And then it was just kind of like, do we want to call it that? All right, let's just call it that. And it's just like, wow, we are operating in such a different way than
It was
we
so
used to.
cool.
Where back in the day, it just felt like if you wanted to make any change, it was like, all right, we're going to have to go through 15 processes and people and get approval and all this stuff. And it just made you not want to take risks, made you not want to be creative.
Yeah, and I feel like so many people working here, but I'll just use you two as examples for this, but like, what's going to work. You're more invested in the show than anyone else can be. So it makes sense. It's like, if you want to take this risk, try something new, rename it, like go in whatever direction you want. Like, why not?
Yeah,
Why not just give it a shot? And if it doesn't work, it's not like it's
absolutely
ruined or something.
Absolutely.
You could consistently pivot.
Yeah. In this past year, what has been your guys' favorite thing?
Ooh.
Just in general. Doesn't have to be like a project. Just there's some aspect because it's been a long time since you guys worked together in this capacity.
Yeah, I feel like the most recent live show is my favorite thing that Smosh has done in a very long time.
Wow.
I feel like it showed off all the things that we've been talking about. Like, we've been talking about what Smosh is, what it represents, what our mission is, to make people laugh. It's comedy rooted in friendship.
Yeah.
It's friendship always wins. It's kind of like been our Ian and my tagline for a while. And I feel like this live show did such a good job of showing what Smosh is capable of when everyone works together. There was also that teamwork element there. There were the duos where like it was almost like we were tag teaming.
Yes.
In the theme song, it even mentions like, if you mess up, we'll step in.
I'll step in for you.
I'll step
Yeah.
in for you.
It's cute.
And yeah, it's really cute because it's like we take this really like kind of cringy, just overly cute idea of friendship, but it's like we can make it a real thing.
Yeah.
I think also like with like YouTube, it's things might get a lot of views, but you're not really sure like, is this like, are these our viewers? Is this just the algorithm? And like it's hard to know like who out there is like actually supporting us and watching us.
Yeah.
And so like when we see the live show, get so many like people in, like it far exceeded our expectations, both Anthony's funeral and this one. And it's like, it's just a confirmation that like, I think we're on the right path, and that, and we have a great group of viewers that support what we do, and that not everything is dependent on Google AdSense, because it's nice. It allows us to take more risks, like without things like the live show, without memberships, like we can't take as many risks as we are doing now.
Right.
And that will only allow us to get better, grow larger, get out to more people, try new, weird, crazy things, so that we're not like having to just stick to what works.
Yeah.
Because there's lots of other stuff out there that we could be doing that can work and that people would like potentially more than, you know, what we're doing right now.
I think it's very clear that the fans are like, okay. And especially when you guys came back together, I felt like the fans were like, ooh, it was like mom and dad back together, very nostalgic. And I think this live show showed us that the fans really support us and they're kind of excited to see us take risks and grow and like even up a little bit. Cause like the show is a bit like you're tagged in because you broke or you fucked up a little bit. And it's like they're really excited to see us be vulnerable people. Like people want to see people be people. And you guys coming back, I think let us do that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think what an awesome situation we're in now, because over the years we've had times where we're getting views, like the audience is watching, or some audience is watching, right? But the content that we're making isn't like, we're not having the most fun doing it. You know, it's like okay, it's not necessarily coming from our heart. It's just like this is working and we're doing it, right? And that was the case. At times I felt that way on like Smosh Pit way back in the day. And then there were times where we're doing something we love, but it's not working, you know? And I felt that way. We felt that way on the main channel for years, like before you came back, Anthony, where it's like we were doing stuff and we were having a blast doing it and we cared about it, but it was just maybe not working with the algorithm for whatever reason, or people just weren't interested in it. So to be in a place now where we're making stuff that we love to make, and people are watching it, and the sitcom was so sick in the sense that I was like, you know, I pitched this show of like, all right, here's the show where the point of it is that we're gonna up, it's gonna be stupid and chaotic, and all that matters is that we have fun. And then that's what people actually wanted to see. I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
I think if we had a perfectly executed sitcom where we nailed everything, I don't think they would have liked it as much. You know, you can go somewhere else to watch that. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it wasn't, we weren't watching a sitcom. You were watching a bunch of friends with each other. Yeah. And that was the sell of it. And that's what people loved. So I was so extremely happy about it. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really cool also because, like, I felt like the four of us were in I felt like the cast was, like, in the sitcom, it was, like, the friend group, and then it was, like, us four.
We did have a lot of stuff together.
A little, like, kind of on the outs. Even though, Kevin, it was for you, your surprise party, but we were, like, kind of on the outs, which made it more fun. We could like do weird shit.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of cutaways with
we had a lot. We went through a whole journey together. Smoking
journey
weed.
To hell.
We died together.
We died together. We nearly kissed.
Literally.
This is gonna sound so random for anyone that didn't watch the
Oh man.
Guys,
man. Yeah, and this is after there will hopefully eventually be an opportunity. But
I mean the fan art of the Krungle and the Krungle. I'm sorry, spoiler alert, but like when you're about to smoke weed, it's just so good. Some of the fan art is so good. We look like demons, you and I.
Yeah, in person we looked like demons.
Well,
so.
Yeah.
In the theme song, you literally had a demonic moment.
I know, it's true. I remember, to be completely honest, leading up to that show, I was really worried. I was worried how it was going to be pulled off. And then I was honestly like, I don't know if I ever want to do this format again. And then we did the show, and that night I was like, this was really fun. This was awesome. And the fan reception has been so good that I, not this year, but eventually would be down to do another one. And I pitched my Star Trek type one, but there's a million versions of it.
I love that.
I love that.
Well, we have the green light. Let's do it, Captain.
Yeah, let's do it. What was Anthony coming back? What was like a surprising thing for you here? What was something you didn't expect?
I think the biggest thing is I wasn't taking into account how many individuals I would need to make a connection with in order to fully understand the dynamics and the social environment and everything at Smosh. I feel like I feel like over the past year, it was really about me like understanding how things were, what the dynamics were, what was expected, how to communicate with people. I think it was really the social aspect of it that I wasn't really accounting for.
Oh yeah, there's a
Interesting.
lot of us, and there's a lot
people.
of cast dynamics, and there's a lot of different like friendships and like duos, and that's kind of a lot.
It takes time, though.
Yeah, it does.
I was thinking the other day about how Spencer and I rarely talked until like 2020. And we'd worked together for, 4 or 5 years before that, but we just hardly
That's
had
so
conversations before that. And then in these past couple of years, we've become really good friends. But I think that's the case for everyone. Like, it's hard for me to think back now because I'm such good friends with everyone, but I'm like, how long was like Angela and Chance working here before I felt like I was like, oh, we've really connected and we really understand each other, both
Yeah.
as performers and friends.
Yeah.
I think it takes time.
I felt the same. Like, I feel like you and me really got super close doing this podcast. Like, we were always making each other laugh since day one, but
Yeah.
I felt like I didn't fully understand your mind and like our connection until we started texting all the time. And now it's like, I feel very close with you. And that, I think I was working 2.5 years before that, or
Yeah.
3 years.
Yeah.
3 years before that.
So I think it takes time. You've been here for a year, and that's, I would say, for a lot of people after a year, I think you've made more progress than a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I did get slapped by like 30
That,
people. So
and
that,
hey,
that really brings you
way to
closer.
build
That was a
Like
huge.
connection.
That was a huge moment. Okay, we can ask now. Did the Arasha slap? Did that hurt at all, or were
It surprised the shit out of me. Like I
Yeah.
don't remember the way it felt as much as I just remember being surprised.
Was it the first or the second slap?
It was the second.
It was the second
Yeah.
It was
slap.
the second.
It was the
slap.
second slap.
I thought it would amp up.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
didn't
that
know
makes
it would
sense.
start.
Yeah, we all
Honestly-
thought that too.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think you got lucky because when she slapped you so hard, I think the rest of us were like, "Oh, we got to pull back."
For sure,
At least
everyone
I did.
pulled back after that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Did
Yeah.
we?
Well, I'd say
But I'd say for the most part, we
half
did.
of people pulled back from what they.
I
could
was
do.
never gonna go my hardest. Like
You're
hitting
in the
you.
rarity there.
I was never gonna, but I wanted to go full palm. That was always my plan.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I didn't want to hit your ear, and I think I hit your eir. But like, I will say after Rasha, it did make a lot of people go, oh. But I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh, well, I'm just gonna keep to the plan.
Well, also, I think that says a lot about how some people also didn't know how I would react because I
Yeah.
was still pretty fresh.
Yeah.
I mean, like 6
Yeah,
months in.
This was
5 months in or whatever. Yeah, like they didn't quite know how I would react. So I think that was an
Yeah.
interesting point of it as well.
That makes sense.
Like I could have like
Been
if I was a
pissed.
very different person, I would like rip off my microphone and storm out.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
That is so true. Like we would never.
Well, and I mean, like,
No.
because a lot of these people had never worked with you before.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'd worked with you back in the day, so I was like, okay, I know
You know how I'd
fine.
react, but-
for Arasha, I was like, that's
Yeah.
a bold move.
I didn't
Russia went
know.
for
That's a bold move.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
saw your face because I was very close when she did it, and your
Yeah.
face was like, "Ooh, I know that." It was like the fire went up in your face, and it was like, "Wow."
It was mostly just a shock.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wasn't
you were like,
angry.
Okay.
I was like, what the was that? Like it felt like in my head, it wasn't one individual doing this out of their own free will. I thought that it was, for some reason, that moment, I was like, this was like a big planned moment where like someone did something. I don't know. It seems so calculated
Nope.
Well,
in the moment,
well,
in blindfolds.
It was not.
I mean, I didn't know how you were gonna react because I didn't really know you that well, and I was just like, "Damn."
Yeah.
That could be like the #1 Anthony moment. Just that whole experience.
And a Russia moment.
And a Rasha moment.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to, like, that was just, I thought it was really bold of you to come back and immediately be like, yeah, I'll have everyone slap me.
Yeah, it felt like it was necessary for some reason.
That was your way to really get to know people.
Yeah. And
At least
also,
get to know their strength.
yeah, and also show them how I would react if I got brutalized.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
You
And
were.
you did ask Tommy to choke you. So.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I was trying to amp it up more. I was trying to find that limit. The limit was found.
I respect it because I think you're one of those people that's good at when you're in a video, you know what's going to make the video more entertaining for a
Yeah.
viewer.
Yeah, I was trying to go with entertainment.
Yeah.
Self-editing.
Yeah, for
I
sure. It was about
appreciate that.
entertainment. It was about entertainment.
I appreciate the commitment to that. And then, of course, I think all the girls were like, okay. And all girls who slapped me. And I think Kiana was like, no. We were like, why?
Oh, like you wanted to get slapped?
Like an all girls who slapped
Oh,
me.
yeah.
No guys involved.
Yeah.
I don't know. Putting it out there.
She really wants to get.
Add it to the prediction.
She really wants brain
Really
trauma.
wants to get slapped.
Well, I feel like it'll bring us a lot closer.
It brought me closer.
It was a
Although,
cool experience.
Yeah. The women on the cast are already very close, I feel like.
I'm gonna put a wig on. Sneak in there.
Come in, you go, bam!
I'll get those like the Dolly Parton fake titties that we have.
yeah, perfect.
And,
God.
I'll just sneak in.
We all know it's you.
And we're
Like,
like,
hey,
Ian, what are you doing? here?"
I'm Dorothy. I'm the new PA. I'm here to smack the shit out of Amanda.
And we would know it was you.
It's not gonna even matter.
I don't
Rosh
think
is gonna hit
so.
the hardest anyway.
Yeah, you still.
That's
yeah.
true.
So
I don't know if we're gonna do any more slapping content. I think we kind of were like
Well-
after yours.
was
I
that
think,
the finale?
I think after yours we were like maybe that's the end of it.
Well,
Okay.
I think we've. I mean, it's really funny to see like where for so many years we had so much content that was like about like punishment.
it was.
And it was like, eating hot peppers and getting spanked, or I don't even remember.
The
what all
slaps are like
punishments
the
were.
only thing that we've done in recent
Yeah.
years that equate. Because I remember when I first joined, in the first couple days that I was there, I had to eat a habanero pepper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was
Ugh.
agony, and we were all dying.
Yeah, Mari was like on the side of the house, like barfing because
There were,
she
like-
chugged milk afterwards.
Yeah, no,
There
it
were
was,
like 6 different times that I had to eat habanero
Yep.
peppers, and every single time it wasn't like uncomfortable just in the moment. It was uncomfortable for
The
maybe
whole
2
day.
or 3, 4 hours after that. So it was just destroyed you.
I also feel like the sketches back in the day, we used to put ourselves through a lot more.
That's
I just
true.
feel like we ended up in crazier situations.
I know that I always wrote me getting thrown up on
yeah.
Yeah.
for some reason, and
why wasn't I in that sketch?
You were covered in peanut butter at one point. You were
I
peanut
was
butter baby.
Peanut butter baby.
Like we just full on.
We would end up naked for some reason.
Oh yeah, we were all naked all the time back in the day.
Yeah. Do you remember? So
When I first joined, like I was just naked in every sketch.
there was this old video,
What?
naked, there was a Naked and Afraid.
This is
Oh
it's
my
actually
God, this is
it's
the
actually one of the
most
funniest.
disgusting-
It's one of the funniest shots ever though.
It's one of the most
What?
disgusting shots we've ever had.
It's
It
really,
involves
I will
Shayne.
say it's
It
funny.
involves Shayne being naked.
So there's
That's the most
you guys are
disgusting
filming
shot you've ever
you guys-
had.
Most disgusting
It was Naked
shot.
and Afraid, but it was like inside your house.
Yes.
And then at a certain point, it cuts out, and all the crew is naked too. And I'm like this sound guy with like a mullet, and I'm just standing right next to. I think it was. I forget which one of you it was.
Me, maybe?
But I'm standing right next to him, just naked, and my crotch like near his face, just kind of.
well,
like,
no, the best part was the nipples. Do you remember the nipples?
Do you remember the nipples?
Was it mine?
Was that Naked and Afraid? Was that the Naked and Afraid?
No,
sketch?
that was you, right?
That
Who
was
had
Naked
the-
and Afraid, right?
the big long nipples.
Oh my god!
Shayne
it's
had
awful. I-
prosthetic nipples that were like 6 inches long.
It wasn't me. It was you. I thought had
No,
the
it was-
prosthetic
it was
nipples.
you.
It was you.
you.
I have the prosthetic.
And
nipples.
you shush me with your nipple.
Oh,
You don't remember that?
Oh,
I'm gonna pull an
God.
Ian right now and pull up the clip.
This is awesome, guys. This is awesome.
But this is how it used to be, and things are different now.
Wow.
I can't believe I'm about to pull it.
It is Naked. and
It's
Afraid,
actually
right?
insane to me. No, because I was the sound guy in
Pull
Naked
it
and
up here.
Afraid.
Oh, it's right there. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
You
Oh.
were,
What was this?
That is you.
That's awful.
And you slapped the shit out of me with your nipples.
It's so gross.
God, it's insane that I don't remember this.
Oh my God. What?
I forgot that I
You
played.
blacked this out?
I played multiple naked people in Naked and Afraid.
Why can't the women have a slapping contest? What are we talking
That's
about?
what I'm saying.
Well, that's
I played multiple naked people.
2016 was a
if
different
Shayne
time.
if Shayne can smack the shit out of somebody with his nipples, then
Then we can do whatever the fuck we want.
What do you think is the craziest thing in your sketches in the past year that you guys did?
In the past year.
Because you did also make me fill my mouth with a weird fake tobacco.
Oh, yeah, there was a lot of weird
Oh,
chewing
yeah.
tobacco stuff.
Yeah, in the Mr. Beast sketch.
You got water porn
that
on you
wasn't
as
that bad.
Professor O.
It was just
Yeah, you got
That was
messed
weird.
up in that.
just
sketch.
in that one sketch. Everything else, the water as Professor Oak was funny
Oh,
Yeah.
and fun.
yeah.
I was like, this will be refreshing. I enjoyed that.
It was pretty cold that day.
Actually,
it
just
was first thing in the
being-
morning.
Being in Blastoise all day.
That looked
it was
brutal.
crazier. Than
Yeah,
It
yeah.
looked insane on
had to be
set.
It was
Crouch,
because the
too.
shell that I was wearing, I couldn't like sit.
Yeah.
Him texting.
So I had to just be like hunched the whole time.
And also, you
Yeah.
were like I don't think we anticipated your screaming as Blastoise, and he would just whenever he would come out. I'm sorry, audio listeners. He'd go, "Ah!" And so much so that the neighbor next door like shouted over the fence like, "Are you okay?"
Oh.
and I was like, no.
No, I have a shell on my
I'm dressed as
back.
Blastoise.
No,
and I'm
I walked
Two-Face.
over there dressed like that. I'm not okay. I need help.
I love the big fake booties that
was a great
that
time.
everyone
That's
was
true.
Good
wearing.
sketch.
That's true.
That was fun.
It was a lot of weirdness.
Yeah, you had that weird hair prosthetic
Yeah.
with like
Hair
chunks of
transplant?
hair growing, like falling into your mouth.
Yeah, that
a
was
weird time.
wild. I mean, I love doing I love that we did the sequel of Stop Copying Me.
That was impressive
That
as
was
hell.
like a really cool, fun video to make.
That was very impressive.
Yeah.
And I'll say, I think out of all the videos you guys made, I do think Food Battle was my favorite. And
It's so
to be
good.
completely honest, I think it's my favorite of that series.
Whoa.
Wow.
I would say, like, look, I'm gonna put out a hot take. I think
Whoa.
out of all your sketches and series, Food Battle was one that I was always like, okay,
Right.
but that one I thought was top notch.
Okay, I appreciate
The
that.
the gum on the side of the building, I
Yeah.
was like, that's the
The
funniest shit
the
ever.
stupid longest.
No, I was like, this
twist.
is unbelievable.
How long did that take for you guys to shoot that one? Was it a week?
had
We
multiple
shot it over.
locations.
Oh,
shot it
3
over
days?
3 days, and we
Yeah.
had one pickup day with the locker scene, right?
Yeah, true. So
Yeah.
4 days, I guess. But yeah, it was a lot. We flew up to Sacramento to shoot up there at the original kitchen table.
Huh?
It only felt right to pay homage. To
Yeah.
the
Absolutely.
original.
Anthony and I, we did, if you could call it a writer's retreat at the Smosh house, at the house that we shoot the sketches at. We took a weekend where we just shut ourselves in that house and watched all the food battles, talked about like what made them so good and so weird, and then we wrote the initial draft on that weekend.
That's really
That's
cool.
really cute.
It was fun. Yeah, it was the first time that we had a moment to write where we didn't have a ton of pressure because we had enough time.
Yeah.
So it felt like it really felt like the old days where Ian and I like would just sit down and write something without this like pressure.
That's really cool. That's
Yeah.
so cool because it's longer than just when you left. Because when you came back, you talked about how like you guys weren't having fun
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
stuff in the years before you left. So it's like it's so
Yeah.
cool that you guys got back to that.
Yeah, because
and
the
to have
last food battle is, I mean, there's funny parts. The previous food battle, the one from 2016.
Yeah.
Was that the one where I'm Logan Paul?
Yeah, no,
No, that was
that was the year
Oh.
before.
I forget that I was in two of them back in the day.
that was
Wow.
food battle.
Oh, yeah, you
X.
were meme police in 2016.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
And you were Logan Paul again in a separate video.
I've been Logan
Oh,
Paul
yeah.
a bunch of times.
A bunch
of
my
times.
God. At this point.
Okay.
But yeah, those last two food battles are like very hit or miss because it's like there's some jokes where it's just like, dude, we were just so.
Well, as we were talking about earlier, when your heart's not in it.
Yeah.
Were you burnt out or you were just like,
It was a combination of like we were just stretched so thin on like our hands were just in too many things,
Yeah.
and we were just so busy with other stuff that it was like it would just come down to the wire and be like, oh my god, it's October, we need to do food battle like right now. So like there was a lot of times like where it just like we just didn't have the time to actually put to it to make it like great. So there's definitely some jokes in those last few food battles. I'm not including the one we just did because I think that one's great. But but yeah, in the last few food battles where it's just like, okay, that was a good joke,
Totally.
and that's just crap. That's just like filler crap.
Yeah.
Including the Logan Paul reference.
Where I'm just on the
hoverboard.
hoverboard. Yeah, I'm just there.
we were scraping the bottom of the barrel.
That's okay. It's so funny how long he has been an element.
yeah.
It's also funny though when you look back on sketches because there's periods of time in certain sketches where I'm just like, oh, that sucked. But then I rewatch it and I'm like, oh, wait, it's way funnier than I remember.
Yeah.
Like that happens a lot. And I think that's a lot of every Blink Evers. Because just the nature of how we filmed them, we were filming so many of them all the time, and you read the script a bunch, and there's these short bits that you kind of just stop caring about it, and you don't laugh at it.
Over.
But then you go back and watch some of them, and I'm like, oh my god, that was so
They're
funny.
pretty fun.
They're really fun. There's a lot of them that are really great. I mean, like one of the biggest ones, like Every Subway Ever. When I go back and see it, I'm like, oh, this was really funny. Like it, yeah, we were like we were making sure to put like a brand name in the title and whatever, because it was so algorithmic, like how we were making Every Blank Ever. But then the writers' rooms, we were just fucking around and having a good time, and so it's.
Were you guys writing those EBEs?
Yeah, we would write them. It was kind of be a group effort.
Yeah.
We would get pitches from everyone because it would be like, okay, Subway, what elements of Subway does everyone think about?
Right.
And we would all pitch things like, I hate it when this happens. I hate it when this happens. And we'd create a bunch. We'd all kind of write out ideas for jokes. And then the actual writers, the writing team would like create it into a script.
Yeah. The EBEs were definitely my first introduction to Smosh.
Yeah. And we'd been doing them for so long.
Yeah, I
at
would
that
just
point.
jump into all the EBEs.
But it's tough when you do something for a long time, man. It's really
I
tough.
always thought they were fun. I always thought they were like fun little sketches, and I always played like the really crazy girl who's like,
Well, that was
nuts.
just every
That's
person.
just you.
I mean, like every person was crazy in every
Shayne.
Blank Ever. I think.
Yeah.
I think that was like one of the areas that we kind of like identified with those sketches pre-Anthony coming back, where we're just like we were really struggling to like put like a what's known for people that are not in the comedy world as a straight person, which is saying like the person that's not like the crazy wild like character, the person that's supposed to like ground everything,
The voice of reason.
the voice of reason. With Every Blank Ever, like I think part of the reason was because you only had so much time to tell the joke.
Yeah.
So you could only put in the crazy characters. But without the person that's like the ground, like everything is just kind of like, oh my god, this is just crazy
too
town.
much. You need
Yeah.
the straight person. The straight person actually is usually the funniest person in the scene. They just don't get the laughs.
Yeah.
Or they get the laughs because the crazy person said it and then it lands on them. And I think I also played straight people, always older women, always. But that was probably just my choice. But I liked the EBs. I thought they were really funny. There were like a bunch of sketches put into one. Like a bunch of game bits like put into one thing. So I downloaded Rocket Money and I realized I was spending so much money on subscriptions that I haven't even used in over like 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Rocket Money really helps out with that. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. And it's been wondrous for me. I mean, it showed me a bunch of subscriptions that I hadn't canceled yet that I needed. But it's also been great to really like have a place where all of my spending is like located in one place. I've never been good at budgeting or like paying attention to that stuff.
Right.
It's been nice.
Yeah, it's almost like your own little spreadsheet.
Yes.
They do everything for you. They write it out for you, and you see exactly where you're spending your money.
It's awesome.
It's amazing. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's features. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/smoshmouth. That's rocketmoney.com/smoshmouth. rocketmoney.com/smoshmouth.
Let's get back to the show.
Let's do it.
It honestly just hit a point where I think we just kind of covered everything. Like we were reaching sometimes. Well, the sad thing is, Every Bird Ever, we did that way early on.
Well, and
That should have been one of the
weird,
last ones.
And the weird thing is like the things where we were like, man, we're reaching. This is like they would do really well. Like stuff like every gas station ever or every drive-through ever.
Well,
we're
it's
like,
relatable. People just love relatable stuff. But what was always weird is I never, ever saw our fans talking about Every Blank Ever, and I never got recognized for it, like out in public.
But
like
they got the most views.
VidCon, it got the most views, but I think it was like not like our audience. I think it was just it just kind of got served to people, and it was just like people who didn't give a shit.
Right.
So it's interesting. because like once it went away, it's not like people were like, "Where's every blank ever?" People really, despite it getting tons of views,
There are always going to be some, but yeah, for the amount of views it was getting, you would think that there would be a huge fan base. For it,
but it's crazy. We started that when I joined.
Yeah.
And we ended it only like a couple years ago. It lasted a long time. It was really trippy. Yeah, we're doing such different stuff now. It's very cool.
So for the sketches that you guys wrote together this year, you guys were the writers on that, right?
Correct.
It's pretty impressive.
How was that process coming back, writing those sketches together?
For the first time in so long?
I mean, like I think when we started the surprise, I think we learned a lot about what made our dynamic work in terms of writing. Like, and I don't think before we had ever like truly identified it. But yeah, we kind of like realized like I'm more the person to like throw out like wild ideas, and Anthony is the one to kind of like focus it and put it into like a way that makes sense. And I don't think we had ever like really identified that before, and I think that really helped us when we wrote these sketches.
Yeah, I feel like we both kind of tried to do everything before, but this time around we were like, where do we excel? Let's both do what we excel at and focus there, so that we could bring our powers together and have our energy not be wasted doing things that we're not as excited about doing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And what was inspiring you guys for most of your sketches this year? Were you like, oh, I've always had this idea, or was it you guys brainstorming them together?
I feel like we kind of went through an evolution where it was really about like the story of Ian and Anthony characters. Then it's kind of slowly evolved to be more ensemble, more bits, more broadly appealing stuff. So it's kind of evolved. But initially it started off as just like, what is this crazy situation that we could find ourselves in? Like, how would our dynamic of you being a little bit more silly, me being a little bit more downplayed, like usually that's the dynamic. Like, what is the most ridiculous situation that we could have as roommates? So there's some stuff that was like based on some reality there, like I'm sleepwalking, and you know, there were like some strange metaphors that I don't know if we intentionally wrote, but it was like my character was feeling bad about the way I had treated Ian. I didn't tell him.
Aww.
So then like I was sleepwalking and doing nice things for him. And then at the end I realized like it was weird because there were things that I feel like just came to the surface that were kind of metaphorical for the ways that we were actually feeling behind the scenes.
Interesting.
That's
a bunch
fun.
of hidden symbolism.
Yeah. And I think like, I mean, there was just some videos where we're like, this is so stupid, we have to do it. Like when we came up with the idea to have the meditation app, and you play it, and then it's just an entire scene that plays out like through like audio.
Yeah.
Because we just thought it would be funny as like, not like a prank, but like for people to be like, wait, this whole thing is just an audiobook.
Pretty solid.
Yeah. So just like silly little things like that.
Do you have a sketch from this past year that you are most proud of, or you had the most fun doing? I mean, because you have some that you have a bunch that were a big deal. But I will say, like, Submissive and Breedable was really cool, and it was cool for you guys to do a music video for the first time in so long.
Yeah, I think the ones that stand out to me are the Food Battle, Pokemon Real Life, and Submissive and Breedable episodes.
When did how did that idea come about?
So that initially came about in a members exclusive video, behind the scenes video, where Ian for some reason said something and then he arched his back.
Okay.
And then I said, "You look very submissive and breedable right now."
Okay.
What?
This members content gets pretty wild.
Guys,
Then
get on it.
and then members really latched onto it and were commenting that.
Yeah.
And then
know that.
And then I saw Baby No Money and Young Gravy talking about Smosh on Hassan's stream, and I was like, they know Smosh?
And it was the day that Ian and I had put aside to write and ideate the next music video.
Yeah.
So it was just like the perfect timing. And then we both followed Baby No Money, and he hit us up immediately afterwards.
Wow.
That's so
What are you
insane.
doing? I'm in.
What?
Cut to me with a giant ass.
Yep.
Doing a scene with Baby No Money with a giant ass.
Cut to me being a dom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cut to me being in like, is that, I don't even know if it's leather. Spandex?
Yeah. I don't
Leather
know.
spandex.
I remember.
Did that unlock something in you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was already unlocked. Erin was like, we need a 6 foot tall Dom. I was like, hello.
Yeah.
It was so fun. I felt great the whole time. Like, Josie was amazing. She was like, I'm going to make you look so good.
That's our
Honestly,
wardrobe
she's
person.
So good.
That's the perfect
And she killed it. And I felt so good. And most of my scenes were, actually, all my scenes were with Anthony.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
You walked me like a Weimaraner.
yeah, I walked you like a wine mariner. And I remember looking at Anthony with my whip, and I was like, "Hey, are we cool?" And he was like, "Yep." And I was like, "Great,
cool.
get on the fucking ground."
You know what's wild is the directors of that, they're known as the Reggies. They had written in a scene because we wrote like a majority of the stuff that happens in the music video.
The initial treatment.
Yeah, the initial treatment. And then the Reggies kind of put it into like this like storyboard animatic. And they added my Dom dripping candle wax on me. And I was just like,
Yep.
Okay. All right. And so, yeah, so then when it became Courtney, then Courtney had to drip candle wax on my bare back.
Is this awkward for you, Shayne?
Is it awkward for you, Ian?
Yes, it is awkward.
When we announced and people went back, I looked because I was just like looking at comments all over the place. And I went back to submissive and breedable.
Yeah.
And people were commenting, being like,
This is Shayne's wife. This is Shayne's wife.
being like, I wonder if this is awkward for you.
And Amanda's married, but it's fine.
Who gives a shit about that?
Literal fuck.
Yeah, and I was like, this is just. I don't even think we're gonna use this in the video, and we didn't. It actually didn't wind up fitting into the music video.
So there's just a behind the scene clip of Courtney dripping wax on your
Yeah.
back for no reason.
Yeah,
First only.
and it actually ruined my shirt.
Aww.
Yeah, it got on my shirt, and it won't come out.
Ruined your shirt and
Yeah.
your
Oh.
sense of self.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I still know who I am. I'm a guy
Okay.
that doesn't like candle wax
Okay.
getting dripped on his back. Apparently,
The music video is incredible.
didn't do anything for me.
But
Okay.
also one of the best things to ever come out of that is there's a photo. Spencer was here and you were in your whole outfit.
Yeah.
And Spencer walked by and he got a photo with you, and
Yeah.
it was the funniest photo
He
I've
looks literally
ever-
half your height.
I think he's quite literally half
He
your height in that photo, but it just looks so funny. He's just like,
He asked me like a fan. He's like, "Hey, Amanda, can I get a photo with you?" And Sid and Olivia were in office. He's like, "Hey, Sid, can you take a photo of me with Amanda?" And I was like, "Come here, little boy." He literally is half my height, though.
so good.
6-inch platform.
I had
right?
yes,
You were
I had
literally
6.
Michael Jordan.
Yeah, you were 6'6". You were 6'6".
Oh my god.
You could dunk.
Yeah,
Like-
I had 6-inch platforms that were actually really comfortable. But that last scene where we were supposed to run,
Oh, yeah, you
I
couldn't
said to the Reggies, I was like, I can't run.
Yeah.
Like, also because my dress was so tight that like
Oh,
I could only do. He's like, just power walk.
Power walk is so
Oh yeah,
funny. It's
you
one
were
of my
gonna
favorite
catch
shots.
them. It
Yeah.
wasn't.
I
they
was
did
gonna
not-
catch
it,
them.
It might take time, but you were gonna catch up to that.
That was one of my favorite shots from the music video because you just get this like you get like I don't know maybe like a half second shot of you going.
Yep,
Right.
all because of the heels. But
It's good though.
I love that picture of Spencer. It's so
Oh,
cute.
It's
It's
heartwarming.
so
He looks like
good.
the happiest little boy.
He's so happy.
Yeah.
He's so happy. I'm glad I could do that for him because
Yeah.
I love
Looks like
it.
he went to a con and you were just there.
Yeah, he was like, "Can I take a photo of you?" I was like, "Yes, come here." My voice.
So good. It was some wild shit, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
Shit.
And Art crushed it.
Yeah.
Like
As
all
they do
the
with
props,
everything.
the lighting was incredible too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not making our money back on that music video. But I mean, like that's what I mean. Like, the other stuff we do here allows us to take risks like that. Otherwise, we're just making the same thing over and over and over again. So
Right.
Yeah.
it's cool to be able to take those risks and like, not just for the main channel, but also Pit and Games and Smoshmouth. I don't know if
And live stream.
I don't know how you guys can take risk on this. Like, do it at Niagara Falls.
I've been
or
pitching us
something?
being on a
Jeez,
roller coaster.
quite literally.
On a
for
roller-
many.
okay.
I think that should
Nice.
happen.
We're gonna record it on a roller coaster. We're gonna have to ride the roller coaster
You
many
get
times.
motion sickness.
No, I love roller coasters.
Okay.
I don't like 3D glasses. And and for anything like VR, I have to take a Dramamine. But I don't get seasick, and I'm obsessed with roller coasters.
Okay.
So I don't know
But
what
are you
that
obsessed
means.
with riding a roller coaster for an hour?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I would love to.
What about you, Shayne?
You don't.
Do you think that they could shut down the roller
You don't think
coaster
we
and
just get bored of being on that roller coaster?
No,
There's
not.
loop-de-loop
Which roller
again.
coaster are you thinking?
Ooh.
X2 at Six
X2
Flags?
is so okay. On my fridge, there's a picture of me and my husband on X2. I'm not even making this up. And he's like this, yay, and I'm like this. I'm literally bracing.
Can you
for
imagine if you did?
impact.
Can you imagine if you did the podcast on the ride that just takes you up and drops you?
No, I hate that.
That
ride.
would probably be the
that.
better one to do, though.
That would
What?
Shayne wants that one.
Because,
Okay.
like, you can continue to talk throughout all that. Whereas X2, there's parts, I love roller coasters. There's parts where I'm like, I don't know if you can actually talk.
No.
Like, the amount of force.
I don't think you
being
could
put
talk
on
with
your-
that drop,
forces.
though.
So, because, like, it's spinning and going. Like,
No, this one. They like hold you up and
Yeah,
then they-
yeah. I'm saying that might be better. I'm saying X2 would be really hard. Or, like,
But it
I can't talk
Anything
during the
with-
drop.
anything with flips.
Yeah.
Anything with loops.
How about the end segment is X2?
Okay, we should just we'll record one. We'll do one go around of a roller coaster, and we pick a topic, and we have to talk about it.
We weren't gonna green like this, but you guys are here.
So we'll have to record it on iPhone, and we'll just have lavs.
Oh, it's
and it'll
gonna
just
sound-
you just won't understand anything.
guys can
For
just-
audio listeners, it's gonna be like, all right, and here's us on the roller coaster.
You guys could just ride that shitty Harry Potter roller coaster. That's
Oh,
at
that's
Universal
fun.
Studios.
That one's horrible.
No.
I've
And 3D glasses.
I've never.
Oh, yeah, no, fuck that.
no. The shitty ride. They have
Oh,
like
wait.
they have like a shitty little roller coaster.
It's so shitty that Ian said it's shitty.
No.
3 times.
The shitty, right?
the shitty one, not the 3D one. That one's kind of fun. But
No, we'll
people
get on
fall
Rise
off
of the
it.
Resistance at Disneyland and
Ooh, yeah.
I don't know if I've been on that
walking
one.
around. It's really cool.
That's like we're in
Okay.
the Millennium Falcon or whatever.
No, that's a different. That's Smuggler's Run,
Oh.
which is kind of shitty.
Oh,
Kind of
is
shitty.
it?
Let's just go on the shitty ones. Why don't it's just all shitty,
Okay.
and then we end with X2.
Okay.
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 Is Knott's Berry Farm shitty?
You know what? I haven't been.
I've
Oh,
never
I've
been.
only gone
never
one.
Not
been.
Scary
Forever
Farms.
ago.
Where is that
That
even?
was awful.
In the middle of
In the berry farms.
Oh, and
Where all the berries
Out
These
in the
are.
berry farms.
out of Berries and Cream.
I can't believe they were making fruit, and then they were just like, "What if we made a roller coaster?"
Brilliant.
We're
Brilliant.
making.
Fruit
We're
to
done
roller
with
coaster.
jam.
Yeah.
It's time to jam.
Oh,
Wow.
Okay. We brought up Pit and Games. In this past year, Anthony, do you have a favorite series or type of video on Pit and on
Ooh.
games for both of them?
Good question.
What's your favorites on both? Because
I think it's really cool how Pit doesn't necessarily just have like a recurring roster of like 3 types of videos that just loops. There's a lot of side things where it's like
Totally.
it'll come back once every 6 months or something.
totally.
So I mean, I love the hide and seeks. I love the special like slap type video. I've grown to love Reddit stories more and more as a really interesting passive experience. I feel like Reddit stories is such a different tone than everything else on the channel, and maybe kind of everything else Smosh in general, except maybe this is like the closest to the tone.
It's very podcast like.
Yeah.
What I love about Reddit stories is how it came about. How it was an idea that we were all like kind of uncertain about. It had been kind of floated for a long time, and Kiana was like, "I really want to do this," but so we did it on Thanksgiving for the first one because we were like, "This is throwaway content that's probably not going to do well."
Ha!
That's the funniest
That's
aspect of
crazy.
it. Is it then became like our biggest show on
Yeah.
Smosh Pit, but
It's
it
the only
started.
weekly show.
It truly started in just a way of like, yeah, we're just gonna do this so that we can, because
Yeah.
the week of Thanksgiving we never get views, so we're just gonna put this there. So it's like whatever,
That's
and it'll be easy, and we just won't worry about
Did it initially start with some episodes being live streams or something like that?
Yes, and
someone
we-
mentioned that.
So we actually started forever ago doing it on Twitch,
Mm.
where I would read it with other people, and that would just be through live, and we're getting the live reaction from chat. But once we stopped doing Twitch, we stopped doing it. But considering Twitch, like, I mean, that was, I don't know. I'm sure other people were reading Reddit stories online before that, but, we see a lot of it nowadays. And I think that was around the time, when we started doing it. I think that's when like Two Hot Takes around that time started. So it was kind of this new thing. And so we were kind of like luckily caught a wave of this new type of content. And it was really fun. I mean, I miss it being live because you get the live reaction from your audience and you get to kind of talk about it with your audience. It's the frustrating thing where we will talk about these stories and then we get our audience response and I'm like, oh man, I wish I could have had this convo with you.
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh, I disagree with Shayne on this. I'm like, oh man, if we were talking about it together and I hear
talk about
more opinions, that changes my view on things. But, it's been such a fun experience. As the host, it's been so great because I've learned so much from it. I'm reading so many stories of things that I would have never heard about before. And then on top of that, I get the perspectives of people on the couch that are enlightening me on different views of it. And then I get to look back on it and see the comments and be like, I'm getting comments from people all around the world with different experiences, different backgrounds, different family dynamics, like talking about their stories in relation to these stories. And every single episode I learn a ton. It's so cool.
And the updates are the best.
The updates are so much fun.
Man. Yeah. I mean, it's the best. The most fun is when there's just someone who's just a straight up villain.
Yeah.
That's always the most fun. When it's clear cut and I'm like, this person sucks, and we get to talk about why they suck. It's always the best part of that show.
One of the most interesting things about it, I think, is that it has drawn such a unique audience that maybe isn't interested in much other content from Smosh.
Yeah.
So we went out to a restaurant that was like up on the 6th floor of this place and we had to go in this elevator and I was with you and there were these women there in the elevator that recognize you as the Reddit stories guy.
Yeah.
And only you out of everyone that was there in the elevator too. So it was so cool. Like, were you in any way like expecting there to be this unique audience?
No. I mean, I guess not. I guess it didn't occur to me of like how it's so possible that this is an audience that isn't watching the rest of our content.
Yeah.
But I
It
have
must be on Facebook too.
That's true too.
Yeah.
It is certainly.
But I have gotten recognized specifically for Reddit stories a couple times, and it's always been funny. That one was really funny. The funniest one was Courtney and I were in the UK, and we were waiting. We were at this pub, and it was super busy. We're in line. We're trying to get up to the bartender. Finally, we get up there. It's this lady. She's kind of working really quick, whatever. And then she looks at me, and she's just like, "Are you the one who reads those Reddit stories?" I was like, "Whoa, cool!" Like, the sentiment is always the same. Like, "Oh, I watch them as I go to bed, or I watch them as I'm getting ready in the morning," and I'm like, "That's so cool
I
to just
love
be part
that.
of people's day."
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. It's fun in that way. It's a different type of satisfaction I get from that show.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm not making people laugh. Like, and it is a scary show for me because I'm very comfortable where it's just fully a joke and we're just laughing and whatever. I'm like, oh, we're having real conversations here. That is a little scary.
Yeah, you got to be vulnerable. Like, you might
Absolutely.
say something that someone doesn't agree with.
Exactly, and it
Yeah.
sucks every time.
Yeah.
But what really sucks is I'm very careful of what I say because what I'm most afraid of is being misunderstood, or just the fact that it's my initial reaction to stories.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, I'm reading a story about like a raccoon going to a wedding, and I'm like, well, I've never pondered on this moral dilemma before. So
Yeah.
my initial reaction.
And we don't have a raccoon expert here.
Yeah, exactly. But that's I've also come to accept that and be like, oh, it's okay if people are like, oh, I don't like what Shayne said there. I'm like, oh, well, I'm learning now, and I
think it's okay. I think
It's
that's
totally
what
fine.
Reddit stories is. And also, I love how visual it is because then you get to have the two people on the couch
Absolutely.
who have very similar reactions to you, like while you're reading the whole story.
Mhm.
And I do think that people are like, ooh, I don't agree with that take. But like, we've been very good about being like, this is my opinion.
Right. We're not experts.
Specifically, no. And I think
but-
people like the banter, the debate
Absolutely.
of it all.
Absolutely. I certainly enjoy it. But it's a really satisfying show. I really love it. But it's also been cool. In this past year, I feel like Try Not to Laugh has had a resurgence.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
getting to a point where it was kind of like, I don't know if it's going to stick around. And then I don't know what it is.
love it.
But I think we started having more fun on it again, and that in turn has made the audience interested.
There's a lot of like variations that are be thrown in there too. So of course there's the birthday episodes, then there's the blind pairs episodes. So I think it's throwing in variation.
Right.
Also, like shout out to art department for consistently like changing up the
crush,
props.
man.
Yeah.
No, art
wigs.
department does a lot of
Best.
work at Smosh. It is a demanding
Keep
job.
them busy.
And then for Smosh Games, I've really enjoyed seeing the group dynamic where people are playing themselves. They're just playing a game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a lot of fun to watch, like Werewolf and those types of groups. But then also, I mean, of course, the Don't Win Mario Party stuff is so good. I love how you guys have been throwing in themes there, like the gentleman's version and the cone of shame for getting the first place.
Yeah.
And then an interesting curveball recently is the darts video. Like,
oh my God.
was that something that you were suggesting for more
So-
characters to get in?
So we had done darts forever ago. And it was one of the like first chosen videos. Like we used to do like poker, or we did like blackjack and darts and like just playing random kind of like bar games, but as ridiculous characters. The Chosen kind of was birthed from that. But the last time we did darts, it was the Chosen. Spencer played Bullseye from the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie, and it was incredible. And we just had a bunch of weird characters, and it was a blast. And in that era, from this is like 2020 to 2021, we were kind of doing some of it. A lot of characters came about from it, and I was like, I want to do that again, because we really were relying on characters a lot this past year. But we weren't. It's hard to come up with new characters.
Yeah.
And it's hard to just kind of ask people to be like, come up with a character.
Yeah.
You kind of need to make the conditions for it to happen just naturally and spur of the moment. And the best characters are usually the ones that are kind of just like scrambled together or just come up with on the
TNTL.
spot. Like they really are great. So I was pitching to them and was like, we should bring back darts. We should bring back like playing like poker and things like that, and have people play characters, because in that setting where you're just hanging out for an hour playing a casual game, it allows for some sort of backstory or lore, or
forces you to kind of organically come up with it.
or a point of view of the character. You know, that's what happened with The Chosen. Was I was sitting there playing blackjack, and in the middle of the playing it, I just decided to make him a member of NoFap. Like that was not.
Was that the first video he was in? The blackjack video?
It was blackjack forever ago. So Courtney was Brianna Boho. And then I was like, and so I was supposed to be a different character. I was supposed to be my Aunt Carolyn character, very much like Krungle, this like older woman.
Yeah.
And we didn't have the outfit.
Oh!
I show up to work and it's like, oh, we don't actually have the outfit. And then I kind of literally, it was almost like a cartoon where you're like looking around the room and there's perfectly like a shirt, a necklace, a pair of sunglasses, and shorts.
Didn't you like base it off of Spencer?
So sort of. The Chosen is really based on a lot of guys I've known over the years, and it's also like very much a pop culture thing. Like the Mall Ninja is very much a real, you know, people reference Napoleon Dynamite a lot, and it's like, yeah, absolutely. But I think the reason there's Napoleon Dynamite connections too is because it's also largely based on me in middle school, which is from that era, and also just every dude in Arizona in middle school was like the Chosen. They all thought that they knew karate really well, even though they never took classes. They all thought they understood like the CIA and like special ops, and like they were super playing video games all the time. Also could never get a date. Girls were not interested in them. But so it was a lot of that. And so when it was eventually like, what's your name? I think I said Spencer Agnew, partially just to be funny, but it ended up being true because when Spencer plays The Chosen,
Oh my God.
he's the only person. He's the only person out of everyone who, when he plays The Chosen, he is actually just himself.
Yeah.
And it works.
It's
True.
like, yeah, because on the live show, all of his references when he was like talking about all this stuff, I'm like, that's just Spencer knowledge.
Yep.
He's just
That's not
he's
The
just
Chosen.
talking.
That's just Spencer.
He's just talking. He's just hanging out. It's really funny. But yeah, so it started. So I wasn't called The Chosen at first. It was a choice I had to make because I was like, I can't have a character called Spencer Agnew, and then we also have Spencer Agnew here. That's very confusing. So I changed it to The Chosen, and then it eventually came to this point where I was like, oh, we should do a video where everyone plays The Chosen, and now it's kind of become this character that everyone has their version of it, and very
Yeah,
fun.
I feel like it's interesting that that it was come up with on the spot because of something that someone might have been like, "Oh, this ruined the whole shoot. This
Yeah.
is all messed up." But then you made the best of it, and it turned out that this
Totally.
character is kind of like one of the biggest Smosh characters to have
Yeah.
ever been created. And I think that it also helped that you were like, "How about everyone plays this character?"
Oh yeah,
Like I don't think that Smosh had ever really done everyone plays the same character before.
it's always funny to me when
we did that with was the first one Owen Wilson?
yeah.
Too many Owen Wilsons.
It was a video we shot
It's a
forever ago.
fever
We
dream.
literally
Yeah.
walked to a cafe. It got like no views, but it was fun to film.
Did
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves too.
Keanu
Yeah, well,
Reeves.
Too Many Owen Wilsons was a video we did back in like 2016.
That was
or
Defy era.
17.
Oh, really?
This was
Wow.
way ahead of
Yeah.
its time, and
Yeah.
unfortunately didn't do well, but a great time to do. But yeah, I'm glad we're doing darts again. We had our poker video, which I think is out by
I loved
now.
doing darts. I felt like also like the cast has just always, because I felt like the newer cast came in here and we had a bunch of structures to put in characters like reunion and couples therapy. And since we don't do that anymore, there wasn't a lot of space to like create characters. And especially if we created them in TNTL, they like kind of lived and died there sometimes. So now we had this fun opening. And when you guys came up with darts, it was like, oh, what? We're just going to play darts with new characters?
I want to do it a bunch. I want
do too.
I want to eventually my pitch, I would love to eventually have a month where it's like a darts like league competition where you're like bracket style and you're like which character is going to make it to the finals.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I
face
think
off.
I think like literally new people coming in.
Oh, new people,
So
new
fun.
characters. Because I was the chosen. I lost.
I won.
If I come back, I want to come back as a brand new character or a character I just haven't done in a long
Yeah.
time. Like that's what's so fun. And like our audience is so forgiving that if a character flops or it's like you don't know what you're
It's
doing
so
with it,
fun.
they're not going to care.
No, it's
Courtney
so
was
fun.
Gerald Cakes. I'm on my way.
Gerald Cakes.
Spencer
Solid.
was Fred Darts.
Fred Darts
so
is-
good.
Fred Darts is insane.
That's
I
one of the best
I feel like
characters
we
to come
need-
out of this year.
I feel like we need like a femcell, like the antithesis to the chosen.
to the chosen.
Yeah.
I feel like Brianna Boho's the antithesis to the chosen, but you're saying the woman version of the chosen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
A yeah.
Okay. I don't know much about femcells, so
It's a dark road to go down. Let me tell you.
okay. I guess maybe when we read more Reddit stories, or not Reddit stories, but more subreddits on this show, I can find some femcell subreddits.
I'll stick with my weird guys and old women. I'll
you don't
stick
want
with-
to play a femcell?
I'll stick with my dove guy who throws doves at
What
women.
was his name again?
His name literally came up with it in TNTL, and I was like, "Hey, Art, can I be the dove guy?" And they were like, "Yeah, we got you a lot of doves that you're gonna throw in the air." I was like, "Okay, what's his fucking name? Tyler Henry? No, that's a real guy. That's
That's a
That's a psychic.
Just
What was his
literally
name?
said a guy.
I can't remember
Well,
his name.
Who's his name? Tyler Durden?
Chat.
I came up with it while we were filming, but it was such a fun. He's just like a happy-go-lucky guy who still lives with his mom, and she has a lot of doves, and he goes to weddings and throws doves.
Got a brother that he loves.
He has a brother that he loves.
A question I have for you guys is, how has it been feeling to be like to own Smosh? But is there a lot of pressure that comes from that? Is it crazy to be back? Because it has to be kind of interesting to have started this whole thing, but for so long you're like you don't own it. So it's like whatever happens, it's like, well, I don't own it. But it is really scary. And I felt this with sitcom when I pitched that show, and it was like, all right, this is my pitch. I really care about this, but you own Smosh again. Is there a lot of pressure that comes with that? How's the feeling been?
I think I think there'd be a lot more pressure if it was a failure. I think things are going really well right now. I think, we made some decisions that I think were the right decisions, and I think we invested into the team and to the cast, and I don't really. I mean, I felt a lot more pressure before Anthony came in, just because things were some things were like, ugh. And I was just trying to like keep everything together. But like I think we have such like a strong team, and such a momentum going that like no, like I just like believe in everyone, and I know we're just gonna continue making great shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt a lot of pressure for like the first 6 to 8 months that I was back because I feel like I had to prove that my coming back was a positive contribution. I wanted to make a good impression with everyone that I worked with, that works here, and everyone who was watching. Like I didn't want to let them down as well. I wanted to prove that I was just a positive force coming in here and not like, something that would mess up what had been established. But I feel like in the past 4 or 5 months now, I've really started to see like the more that I just ease up and allow it to flow and give you all ownership to do what you do best and be creative in the ways that you are best at. Like I can actually alleviate a lot of that pressure and just observe and then use that to then lead in other ways that I feel like I thrive most in myself. So it's been a whole transitional period, but I feel like I'm in a really good place now with it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I felt that. I felt really a great welcoming when you came back, and like keep doing your thing. I'm here to like see what I can do and connect, and it was really, really cool.
Good. Yeah. I love connecting with each person here and figuring out like what it is that they like doing, what it is that they don't like doing. How can we get them to do more of the things that they like doing? Because that's not just good for someone's personal mental health, but it's also good for the product that they deliver and what people on the other end see as well.
Yeah.
So it's just overall beneficial.
Yeah, awesome. And like we didn't want to like it was like never our plan for like Anthony to come back and me and him be like, we're back now, we're running the show and we're in everything and like we're calling all the shots. No, it was just like we had like a great foundation and we were already making good content. We can only go up from like there.
Yeah.
Like it was, yeah.
No, I think you guys put a lot of trust in the team, and you like there was more freedom when you guys came back. It felt like you truly let people do what they do best, and to let them take risks. I mean, I think we see that with Smosh games, like what we're talking about. Like,
Definitely.
it really is like we see how from the twisted mind of Spencer, like truly, it's been a blast. It's been really cool, and I don't know what you guys were expecting by this point, but I think for me, it's like I think we're in a better place than I expected, truly, because oftentimes with the nature of YouTube, you're just like, you expect it to just be like, it might decline. It may not be doing well. Who knows? But it's really, this is probably the most secure and most fun that I've been having at this job in a long time.
I think that's like a huge thing. And you had mentioned it earlier where it's like, we were always doing things that were like, okay, we're going to do something good for the algorithm and then we're going to do something for us.
Yeah.
And this is the first time where it's like, oh, like we're making content that we're having fun with and it's doing well, like it's really I feel like we're hitting that stride.
It's a YouTuber's dream,
a lot more than we used to, where like every video I'm showing up to like on Pit and Games, I'm like, I just know that I'm going to have a good time.
Yeah.
And I think that shows in the content. Like the audience sees that,
right?
And like a lot of comments, and I think some of the viewers may have like overstated the difference, but people being like, Ian looks so depressed before Anthony came back.
Oh my God.
Now I can like really see that he's like happier, and I think it's maybe to a degree overstating the facts, but I think yes, generally, I enjoy my work on camera more since this new like version of Smosh began, and since Spencer has taken the helm at Smosh Games, and Emily has taken the helm of Pit, and Kiana has taken the helm of all the programming. Like I think we're just firing on all cylinders, if I am to throw a car metaphor.
Nice.
Yeah, I feel like we made some big switches to the main channel coming in there. And I know that some people were like, oh no, all the cast that we've grown to love on here is no longer here. And of course, that was kind of like a transitional period in and of itself. But I feel like what it also did was it allowed all the casts to really focus in on Pit and Games. And I feel like we've seen what the result of that is. And that's that Pit and Games, I feel like, are thriving more than they ever have. And that's just the results of giving people freedom to take risks, but also allowing them to focus on something that they do really well.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Agreed.
Yeah. It's been a blast, and it'll continue to be a blast.
Yeah. Congratulations on 1 year.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Your 1 year anniversary, shall I say?
Yeah.
I don't know.
All of that.
Like-
Where's our fucking cake?
Oh, it's right outside, in the fridge, right, Selena?
Right, Selena?
Yeah. It
There we
feels
go.
like
There better
it's,
be a cake.
feels like it's been a long time, but also a very short time.
It
at the
feels-
same time.
Yeah. It's friggin' weird,
We
man.
did
Yeah.
so much. Like I think like everyone needs a nice long nap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We accomplished a lot this year.
We really did, and it's cool. It's cool that for right now we don't have any sort of big, crazy thing we're announcing or whatever. I mean, our content we're so focused on right now, and we're making
Well-
great stuff. But
Well.
people never know. But I will
well.
just say, like, it's for these months that are occurring right now after the live show. It's been nice to focus on our stuff, but yeah. Unless you guys, I was going to ask, like, for the next 10 years, like, is there any sort of big dream you have for Smosh? Like, is there, it could be a small thing or a big thing. Is there something that you would love to do in a dream world where you could do anything?
Yeah, Smosh is gonna buy the Miss America pageant.
Oh, Jesus.
And
You had the choice of anything.
Anything.
And you chose that?
Anything.
Yeah. Well, I'm starting small. We're gonna eventually get to Miss Universe.
I want to let people know, listening, that there is a whole team of people who can veto what pitches. So don't worry.
Anthony, what about for
What
you?
do you guys don't think it's a good idea?
Yeah.
I don't have anything specific, like in terms of events. I just really want Smosh to be this place where we can show like what fun friendship group dynamics are like, and give an opportunity for more and more people to work here that get to live that as well, but also for people watching to feel a sense of home and community and watching the dynamics on screen, and maybe even bring that over into their own friendships, and
That's great.
kind of like bring in the feeling that Ian and I had when we first started of capturing this moment of friendship on camera. And I want to see that continue to be what Smosh thrives in.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. I'm down.
I'm down.
I mean,
Down?
for the pageant part, I will have to.
Yeah. I think.
Think
Really-
about it. Think
Okay,
about it.
I'll think about
Yeah,
it.
There's a lot of opportunity there.
Ian's giving you 10 years to think about.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's-
it's on the roadmap. It's on the roadmap.
Okay. On the roadmap.
You guys just don't see the potential. I do. That's,
Okay.
Let me do the big thinking. Let me do the big
Yeah,
business
yeah.
brain.
All
stuff here.
right.
Well,
That's all
thank
the
you.
time we have.
Thank you both for being here, and thank you both.
Thank you.
Anthony, once again, thanks for coming back to Smosh.
Yeah, thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time. A goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
A goodbye.
A good one.
Miss America.